Um, I want to talk today about something most of us have gone through in one point or another, and that is the mundane traffic stop. When that comes to mind, most people think, oh, oh crap, I got busted, I was going 65 and a 55. You sit there, you wait for the cop to come up, and you're just thinking, oh, I don't really want a ticket, can I get out of this? And it's just like, that's how you go about it, that's the peak of your concern. But that's not how all traffic stops go in this country, particularly for minorities. There's a different kind of traffic stop known as an investigatory stop. And this can happen any number of ways. An officer can follow you for a while as you're going through a neighborhood, and you're just wondering, and it's been a mile, 2 miles, following closely, and you're like, what's going on? And finally his lights pop on and he pulls you over. And he comes up to the car, and you're like, officer, what did I do wrong? He's like, well, that little light above your license plate, it's out. Or you swerved a little close to the yellow line. But you're thinking, I've been aware of you for the past 3 miles. I know I didn't go near the line, but there you are. And so as you're waiting for your license and registration to him to run it, you're nervous. And when he returns, instead of just handing you the ticket or giving you the pass, he immediately starts asking questions about why you're there and what you're doing. And you realize that he doesn't really care about the light above your license plate. He's running an investigation. And he's going to try very hard for you to give up your right to not be searched. He can use all kinds of trickery. He can pressure you. He can say, you're just going to make it easier on yourself if you just give me consent. It's not about, we can bring the canine out here. We're going to search you anyway, so you might as well just make it easy on yourself. Now, here you are. You've done nothing wrong, and you have a police officer sort of implicitly threatening you for doing nothing wrong at all. And you know the names Philando Castile and Sandra Bland, and you know this can get really ugly, maybe even fatal. So you consent, and you sit on the side of the road, sometimes in handcuffs, and cars drive by as police officers rummage through all your things. And to all the world, you look like a criminal. And you're being humiliated. The officer may find nothing. He'll send you on your way, maybe with a warning, no apologies. And in your mind, this isn't like a speeding ticket where you know you got busted, you know you did wrong. This was illegitimate. And you're just wondering, that's not what to serve and protect is supposed to mean. And the stop was done under pretext. The entire reason for the stop was he thought you looked suspicious. And chances are he thought you looked suspicious because you had black or brown skin. We all realize that curbing dangerous driving is an important police function. But when you get a ticket for speeding, you don't like it, but it's not really a problem. But when you have these pretextual stops that cause antagonistic interactions with the police, that has shockwaves that goes through a community. There are studies that show that one in 3 black men between 18 and 35 have gone through this exact thing, and even more know people who have gone through it. That resonates, and that erodes police legitimacy in that community, and that actually makes law enforcement harder. It makes it makes the community less safe because criminals feel emboldened, because this contributes to the animosity between the minority communities and the police themselves. So you may be wondering, why am I talking about this on Capitol Hill? There's really nothing more local than being pulled over in your neighborhood. Well, as Tim alluded to, the Equitable Sharing Program is part of the DOJ's incentive program to get police officers to enforce the war on drugs. And part of this is known as civil asset forfeiture. It's when a police agency can seize property that is tangentially tied to a crime. Now, you don't have to be charged with the crime. You certainly don't have to be convicted of a crime for them to take it. And unlike criminal forfeiture, where there needs to be a conviction, in civil asset forfeiture, you have to go into court and prove that that money is legitimate. And that's often very expensive and very time-consuming. A lot of people don't have it. And the way this works is if this officer was not a traffic cop at all and like part of a federal task force, he was there in order to look for drug trafficking. And one of the perverse incentives of this, because the police department gets to keep 80% of whatever cash that they seize, is that instead of stopping drugs and guns, we have police officers on tape saying, oh no, we get them coming out of the major metro areas because they're going to be cash laden. They can seize that to pay for overtime, to buy new toys that Adam will talk about. And it's just becomes this very nasty policing for profit motive. So what we have is a perverse incentive on a couple different levels. Again, if the police are incentivized to stop the cash, but not the drugs and the guns, then what exactly is the war on drugs for anyways? It's supposed to be a public safety issue, right? But if it's just to make police officers more money, that's not helpful. I'm not saying that every police officer who goes through this is a bad person, or that, that they don't care about what happens in the communities, but their incentives are all wrong, and Congress can make these little changes to diminish this and perhaps improve the relationship between these communities and the police. Thank you.